What's going on, guys? I'm back with another video. Today we are going inside my Criterion Collection to talk about a recent movie that I just watched, and that movie is Funny Games, a German film. Came out in 1997, directed by Michael Haneke. This was actually my first foreign movie I've ever watched. I loved it. I honestly think I started off with a bang because this movie was great. Along with a brutal watch. This was a tough watch considering there was a lot of torture in this movie. And going into it, I thought it was going to be more physical than psychological, but there was a lot more psychological torture than physical, which honestly is a little worse, to be honest with you, considering what this family had gone through in this movie. Now, if you've never seen this movie, you have a family, a husband, a wife, and a son. They go up to their vacation home and everything's fine. And all of a sudden you have these two guys psychologically working their way into the house. They didn't break in by force. They really got in by playing games, which was crazy. And all of a sudden it just started getting real bad real quick. Once the dad went down, it was over for this family. Let's be real here. And by the end of the movie, I think that one of the things that I loved about this movie was that the bad guys, I was going to say good guys, but the bad guys actually came out on top, which is a breath of fresh air. Because with these movies, especially when you have an innocent family that shows up somewhere and they're getting tortured, they're getting beat down, they're getting, something's going wrong. And, at some point you kind of realize that they're turning it around and they're going to make it out alive. Everything's going to be okay. Yeah, not with this movie. And that's why I loved it, because you kind of get to see a different ending, a different way where, the bad guys, like I mentioned, they come out on top. And the thing with these movies as well is that at a certain point, like I mentioned, you kind of see the table start to turn for the good guys. In this movie, it actually had that as well. It had that point where I'm sitting there saying to myself, okay, this is their chance to get out. And really what happened was the torturers, they just got up and left. They did something absolutely ridiculous, and they just got up and left. They said, all right, we're out of here. And I think that was one of their games, to be honest with you, because, for me, I'm watching, I'm like, okay, they have a chance. They need to come up with a plan, figure something out, and get out of here alive. And they tried. They had this plan. They tried to get out, and at some point, again, things just started to go downhill real quick, real fast, and the plan did not work. It did not work the way they wanted it to. So, once that honestly happened, I knew for certain that, yeah, no, they're not getting out of here. This it's over for the family, and it ended not so good for them. Now, another thing that I loved about the movie was the torture itself, and I know that sounds bad, but I think that the torturers were playing games on this family, but they were also playing games with themselves. Like, it's almost like they were torturing the family by torturing each other. But it wasn't really torture. Like for instance, they would call each other Tom and Jerry, or they would call each other Beavis and Butthead. The one was a little fat. The skinny one would play into making fun of him because he's fat, and he would get upset. And it almost showed the family that they were a little dysfunctional. And another thing with these movies is that you almost see this family go through these stages of trying to get out alive, right? They'll start off with, please don't do anything. What do you want? We'll give you anything we want. And they tried that. That didn't work. The torturers are playing games with each other. The fat one was obviously, or seemed to be obviously, the weak link. The family tried to take advantage of that. That didn't work. And then they tried to play into, oh, we have a son, please let the son live. That didn't work. And, that was another thing I loved about this movie, was you saw this family try everything, and it just didn't work, which was a little, what's the word I'm looking for? A little, not sad, but hopeless, I guess, because like I mentioned, something is bound to work with a lot of these films so that the family comes out alive, but not with this movie. So that was good. I thought the torturers themselves, they played their roles very well. I thought that they were sick in the head. They seemed to be sick in the head. And another one of my favorite things about this movie, and I don't really see this with a lot of films, is that the one skinny guy, the skinny torturer, he would quite literally look into the camera and talk to the audience. I loved that about this movie. It made me feel like I was part of the story even more. Like, for instance, the one, I think the first time he looked in the camera, I was shocked. I was taken back. I was like, is he looking at me? And then he's saying, you know, you're hoping for the family to get out alive, right? Well, or he said something along those lines. And another time he would say, the family was pleading for it to be over, and he looks into the camera and says, well, it can't be over yet. The feature film isn't over. And he would kind of be smirking a little bit. Pretty evil, to be honest with you, but I loved that little aspect of the movie. And actually, at one point, the movie quite literally paused and rewinded to replay out a scene to end in a different way, which was, I thought, very unique. I've never seen that in a movie before. I thought that was amazing. And yeah, this movie, like I mentioned again, the torture was ridiculous. You know, many times throughout the film, I'm saying I don't know how I couldn't handle a lot of the stuff this family goes through. It's quite ridiculous. But yeah, overall, great film. I would definitely recommend it if you are into foreign stuff. If you have a problem with watching subtitles, reading subtitles, and not being in English, this probably isn't for you. But if you are into that type of stuff, I think this is a great movie. Now, let me know down below if you have seen this movie before, what you thought of it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? If you did like it, what was your favorite things about this movie? If you didn't like it, what did you not like about this movie? I'd love to hear about it down below. And I think moving forward, I'm going to start buying more and more foreign films because I was a little scared going into it. Didn't know how I was going to feel, but I loved it. I loved the experience, and I would definitely recommend this movie. So that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned till next one, and make sure to keep your shelves worthy.